Barnhouse, Neolithic village. Barnhouse is a lesser known site in the Brodgar area. The village gets overshadowed by the close by World Heritage Sites, but while researching the village, the site comes alive from its excavation finds and alignments. As a Neolithic settlement, Barnhouse is unique in its close proximity to contemporary prehistoric sites like Maes Howe, the Ring of Brodgar and the Stones of Ness. What we see today at Barnhouse is a modern reconstruction of the foundations of 4 excavated buildings. This is only a small portion of the whole village, and these dwellings are from various stages from the village timeline. There is evidence of remains of up to 14 buildings. The bulk of these constructions were for everyday living. Other buildings served different purposes. A geophysical survey was undertaken of nearby fields and shows more of the village extending towards the direction of Maes Howe. The settlement's foundations was discovered in 1984 by archaeologist Colin Richards, who also excavated the site. This discovery has been one of the most important UK finds in the late 20th century. Barnhouse dates from 5,300 years ago, which is contemporary with the Stones of Ness. The people who lived here may have imagined, constructed and used the stone circle. The entrance into the Stones of Ness roughly faces the direction of the village. The constructs went through many phases of rebuilding and rework. The small houses were likely built for a family of up to 7. Structure 8. Structure 8 was the last construction, the largest and more elaborate for a Neolithic build. It was constructed on a yellow clay circular platform and encompassed by a substantial stone wall. Inside is 7 metres square and the biggest internal space in Neolithic Orkney. The floor space is twice that of Maes Howe. The construction coincides with the abandonment of the little houses. It seems at this time the site changed from a mostly domestic village into a ritual ceremonial use. This was built on top of an earlier structure, with the removal of the central area hearth. The entrance is orientated to the summer solstice sunrise and may be symbolic of the living. Entry to the centre was a carefully controlled crossing with a likely symbolic fireplace hearth at the entrance, and this threshold hearth may have been some kind of purification ceremony for people entering the inner sanctum. Structure 8, like the Stones of Ness, has a central hearth. Rituals would have taken place inside, where ceremonies possibly had tightly controlled access. At Stones of Ness, the opposite took place. The rituals were out in the elements. A complete intact vessel of grooved-ware pottery was uncovered and set into the floor. 14 prepared flint nodules were buried in a pit, and flint was scarce in this period and may have been a valuable hoard. House 2. House 2 is the second biggest building and also one of the more elaborate builds with high quality masonry like Maes Howe. The builders wanted the exterior stonework to be noticed. Here we have 2 chambers and a hearth in each central area. This site compares in layout design to the passage grave Quantor Ness. Like Structure 8, this was built on a clay platform with a more complex layout design than the other dwellings. This building was maintained over the course of its life. It is thought the west section was for eating and the east section mainly cooking. The interior is split in 2 by partitions. A stone slab next to the fireplace covered a pit or kist. At winter solstice sunrise, the sunlight penetrates the entrance for 1 hour, weather permitting, and illuminates the kist cover. 2 unfinished mace heads were uncovered and seem to have been made in the west section. A polished stone chisel was found buried in the east recess. This may suggest the making of ceremonial objects. On the surface area at Barnhouse before discovery, Burnt bone and flint tools were spotted. After excavation, the walls were partially reconstructed. Grooved ware pottery was found at Barnhouse, Skara Brae, and many other chambered cairns in Orkney and mainland Scotland, and 2 quernstones were also found. Burnt remains show people had more sheep than cattle. A number of pieces of pitchstone from the Isle of Arran and imported flint were uncovered. This shows trade links with the west coast of Scotland. The wooden posts mark where archaeologists found sockets for timber posts, which may be for furniture or internal divisions. House 3 is one of the first constructs. It is a typical late Neolithic Orcadian dwelling. The entrance is orientated southeast to northwest with a central hearth. At either side of the hearth are big box features with a dresser on the back wall. From a 21st century mindset, these features may be furniture but may not be. House 6 is a simple design with a hearth in the middle. The southwest entrance is converse to the House 1 entrance, which looks like the two were a pair. House 6 looks as if it was built over House 11. An interesting finds here was pumice, worked flints, and the house midden suggests special working of bone, wood and hide took place.